Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Speaking Nerds channel. We are so happy to see you here today. I'm your host, Maya.
And I'm John. This is the place where we help you speak real, natural English. Not boring textbook English, but the warm, honest language that people actually use when they talk to each other in everyday life.
That's right. And if you want to improve your English and learn how native speakers really talk about their achievements and goals, please support us by clicking that like button right now and subscribing to English Speaking Nerds. Your support helps us so much and lets us keep making videos that truly help you grow.
We appreciate every single one of you. We love reading your comments and hearing about your wins, big and small. Now, today, we're talking about something that everyone experiences, but many people struggle to express properly. We're discussing how to talk about success in English.
How to talk about success. This is such an important skill because success is part of life. We all achieve things, reach goals, overcome challenges, and grow. Being able to express these accomplishments in English helps you communicate your value, build confidence, and inspire others.
Absolutely. And here's something interesting, and please stay with us because we're going to reveal this later. Many English learners make one critical mistake when talking about success that actually makes them sound less impressive. We'll show you exactly what that mistake is and how to avoid it.
And that's just one of the secrets we're sharing today. We're going to cover how to describe different types of success, how to talk about achievements without sounding arrogant, how to celebrate others' wins, how to discuss failure and setbacks, how to express goals and ambitions, and so much more. Plus, we have a special technique at the end that native speakers use to make their success stories truly memorable.
So, let's get started. Maya, why is it important to know how to talk about success in English?
Oh, what a great question. Talking about success is important because opportunities come from communication. When you can clearly express your achievements, you open doors for job interviews, networking, relationships, and personal growth. Success isn't just about doing great things, it's also about being able to share those things effectively.
Yes, and there's something I call achievement vocabulary that everyone needs.
Achievement vocabulary. Tell everyone what that means.
Achievement vocabulary is all the words and phrases you use to describe accomplishments and wins. Instead of just saying, I did good or it went well, you can say, I exceeded expectations. I accomplished my goal. I made a breakthrough. I reached a milestone. Having rich vocabulary helps you express exactly what you accomplished and why it matters.
That's a perfect way to explain it. And these conversations require what I call humble confidence.
Humble confidence. What does that mean?
Humble confidence is when you talk about your success with pride, but without arrogance. You're honest about what you achieved, but you're not bragging or putting others down. You can say, I'm really proud of this accomplishment, without saying, I'm better than everyone else. This balance makes people respect you instead of resenting you.
Perfect. And talking about success follows what I call the context principle.
The context principle. That sounds interesting.
The context principle is the idea that success always needs context to be meaningful. It's not enough to say, I won. You need to explain what you won, why it mattered, what obstacles you faced, and what it took to achieve it. The context makes the success story powerful and relatable.
Excellent. And many English learners face what I call the modesty trap.
The modesty trap. Explain that.
The modesty trap is when you're so worried about sounding arrogant that you don't talk about your success at all, or you minimize it too much. You might say, oh, it was nothing, when someone compliments you, or you hide your achievements completely. But there's a difference between being humble and being invisible. Learning to share success appropriately helps you get recognized for your hard work.
That's so important. And remember that critical mistake we mentioned? Here it is. Many learners use passive voice when talking about success, which makes them sound less impressive. Instead of saying, I led the project, they say, the project was successful. Instead of, I increased sales by 30%, they say, sales went up. Using active voice makes you the hero of your own success story.
Perfect explanation. Now let's talk about different types of success. What are the main categories?
Success can be professional, personal, academic, creative, financial, relational, or health-related. Each type has its own vocabulary and way of being discussed. Let's explore them one by one.
Let's start with professional success. What are different ways to express career achievements?
For small professional wins, you can say, I met my deadline. I completed the project. I handled a difficult client well. I received positive feedback. For medium achievements, I got promoted to team leader. I led a successful campaign. I exceeded my targets. I earned a certification. For major accomplishments, I got the job. I became a manager. I closed a major deal. I launched my own consulting business.
Those show different levels. Can you give examples in sentences?
Sure, I met my deadline despite some challenges along the way. I got promoted to team leader.
Can you give context examples? Of course. I passed my chemistry exam after studying for 3 weeks straight. I got into Stanford, which was my top choice. I graduated with honors despite working full-time. The context shows the effort behind the achievement. What about creative success? How do you express those achievements? For creative wins, I finished writing my novel. I learned to play a song on guitar. I sold my first painting. I gained 1,000 followers. I performed in front of an audience. I created something I'm proud of. I expressed myself through art. Those are wonderful. What about financial success? For financial achievements, I paid off my debt. I saved my first $10,000. I got a raise. I started investing. I became financially stable. I reached financial independence. I can afford the things I need. Now let's talk about expressing the journey to success. Why is this important? The journey is often more interesting than the destination. When you talk about how you achieved success, you make the story engaging and inspirational. It shows your character, work ethic, and resilience. How do you describe the effort you put in? You can say, I worked hard for this. I dedicated myself to this goal. I sacrificed a lot. I stayed committed despite challenges. I pushed through difficult times. I never gave up. I put in countless hours. Can you give a real example? Sure. I got my dream job, but it took 2 years of applications, rejections, skill building, and networking. I worked hard to improve my resume, practiced interviews dozens of times, and learned new software on my own time. The success feels amazing because I know what it took to get here. That's incredibly inspiring. Now let's talk about describing obstacles you overcame. What are common ways to express this? You can say, I faced many challenges. I encountered obstacles. I dealt with setbacks. I overcame difficulties. I pushed through barriers. I didn't let failures stop me. I turned problems into opportunities. What if you want to be more specific about the obstacles? Then you explain them. I faced financial challenges because I had to pay for the course myself. I encountered language barriers when I first moved here. I dealt with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. I overcame the obstacle of having no connections in the industry. Being specific makes your success story real. Can you give a complete example? I achieved my goal of becoming a software developer, but I overcame significant obstacles. I had no computer science degree, no tech industry connections, and I was working 2 jobs to support my family. I taught myself to code using free online resources, built projects in my limited free time, and applied to hundreds of positions before getting my first interview. Every rejection taught me something, and I never stopped improving. That's incredibly inspiring. Now let's talk about timing and duration. How do you express how long something took? You can use these phrases. It took me time period. After duration of hard work. I spent time working toward this. In just short time. Over the course of time. For time I've been. Can you give examples? It took me 5 years to build my business to this level. After 6 months of intense training, I ran my first marathon. I spent 3 years developing this skill. In just 2 weeks, I finished the entire project. The time frame adds context. What about expressing ongoing success versus one-time achievements? One-time achievements use past tense. I won the award. I graduated. I completed the marathon. I got promoted. Ongoing success uses present perfect or present continuous. I've been growing my business. I'm building my career. I've maintained this habit for a year. I continue to improve. Can you give more examples? One time, last year I published my first book. Ongoing, I've been consistently publishing articles every month for 2 years. One shows a single moment, the other shows sustained effort and success. Now let's talk about quantifying success. Why are numbers important? Numbers make success concrete and impressive. Instead of saying, I helped the company, you say, I increased revenue by 25%. Instead of, I'm popular on social media, you say, I grew my following from 500 to 50,000 in 1 year. Numbers prove your impact. What are phrases for including numbers? You can say, I increased metric by percentage. I achieved number in time frame. I grew from starting point to end point. I reached milestone number. I improved metric by amount. Can you give specific examples? I increased team productivity by 40% through better organization. I achieved 10,000 sales in my first 6 months. I grew my client base from 5 to 50 in 1 year. I reached 1 million views on my content. I improved my English speaking score from 5 to 8 in 3 months. Those are powerful. Now, here's a question many people struggle with. How do you talk about success without sounding arrogant? This is the art of humble confidence. First, acknowledge others who helped you. Say things like, I couldn't have done it without my team. My mentor guided me. My family supported me through this. I learned from great people. What else makes you sound humble instead of arrogant? Focus on the journey and learning, not just the win. Instead of, I'm the best, say, I worked really hard to improve. Instead of, I'm smarter than everyone, say, I found strategies that worked for me. Also express gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I feel fortunate. I'm thankful for the chance. Can you give a good example of humble confidence? I'm really proud that I got accepted to Harvard Business School. It was my dream for years, and I worked incredibly hard on my application. I'm grateful to my professors who wrote recommendations, my study group who helped me prepare for the GMAT, and my family who supported me emotionally. I know this is just the beginning of the journey, and I'm excited to learn from the amazing people there. Perfect. That acknowledges the achievement, the effort, the help, and stays humble. Now let's talk about responding to compliments about your success. What should you say? When someone congratulates you, don't minimize it by saying, oh, it was nothing. Instead, accept it graciously. Say, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I worked hard for this. I'm glad you noticed.
Praises you excessively.
You can still be humble. Thank you, but I had a lot of help. I appreciate your kind words, but there's still so much to learn. Thanks, I was lucky to have great mentors. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but it was truly a team effort.
Now let's talk about celebrating other success. This is just as important. How do you congratulate someone sincerely?
Use enthusiastic phrases. Congratulations! That's amazing! I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. That's incredible news. Well done. I knew you could do it. This is fantastic.
What if you want to be more specific?
Add details about why it's impressive. Congratulations on your promotion. I know how hard you've worked for this. That's amazing that you finished your degree while working full-time. You deserve this success after all the obstacles you overcame. Specificity shows you really care.
What if you feel a little jealous, but still want to be supportive?
Be honest, but kind. Congratulations. I'm really happy for you, even though I'm a bit envious. Or, that's wonderful news. It inspires me to work harder toward my own goals. Acknowledging your feelings while celebrating theirs is mature and authentic.
What about asking about someone's success? How do you show interest?
Ask open-ended questions. How did you do it? What was the key to your success? Tell me about your journey. What challenges did you face? What advice would you give? How does it feel? These questions let them share their story.
Now let's talk about something difficult, discussing failure and setbacks. Why is this important when talking about success?
Because real success stories include failures. Nobody succeeds without setbacks. Sharing your failures makes your success more believable and inspirational. It shows resilience and growth.
How do you talk about failure in a positive way?
Frame it as learning. I failed, but I learned. That setback taught me I didn't succeed the first time, which showed me my biggest failure became my greatest teacher. I had to fail several times before I figured it out.
Can you give an example?
Before I started my successful business, I had 2 failed ventures. The first one failed because I didn't understand my market. The second failed because I ran out of funding. But each failure taught me critical lessons. I learned about market research, financial planning, and persistence. My third business succeeded because of everything I learned from failing twice.
That's powerful. What phrases help connect failure to eventual success?
Eventually, after multiple attempts, despite initial failures, through trial and error, once I learned from my mistakes, after pivoting my approach, when I finally figured it out.
Now let's talk about expressing goals and future success. How do you talk about what you want to achieve?
For definite plans, I'm going to, I will, I'm working toward. For aspirations, I hope to, I want to. My goal is to, I dream of. For ambitious goals, I'm determined to, I'm committed to, I won't stop until.
Can you give examples at different confidence levels?
Hopeful, I hope to start my own business someday. Confident, I'm going to launch my business next year. Very determined, I will become financially independent by age 40, no matter what it takes. The language shows your commitment level.
What about short-term versus long-term goals?
Short-term uses near future. By the end of this month, I'll finish my certification. Next week, I'm presenting my project. Long-term uses distant future. In 5 years, I plan to be a director. By 2030, I want to have published 3 books.
Now, let's talk about the special technique we promised. This is how native speakers make success stories memorable. What is it?
It's called the contrast technique. You create a dramatic before and after contrast that shows transformation. You paint a picture of where you started versus where you are now. The bigger the contrast, the more impressive the success.
How do you structure this?
Use phrases like, I went from to, I used to, but now, before, I, today, I started with, and now I have, a year ago, now. This creates a clear comparison.
Can you give a powerful example?
3 years ago, I was working minimum wage, living paycheck to paycheck, and could barely afford rent. I had no degree, no savings, and no clear future. Today, I'm a certified web developer earning 6 figures. I own my own home, and I'm financially stable. I went from barely surviving to truly thriving. The transformation happened through dedication, learning, and refusing to accept my circumstances as permanent.
Wow, that contrast is so powerful. The before and after makes the success incredibly dramatic.
Exactly. Another example. I used to be terrified of public speaking. I would shake, turn red, and avoid any presentation. I couldn't even speak up in small meetings. Now, I regularly present to audiences of 500 plus. I teach communication workshops, and I actually enjoy being on stage. That transformation took years of practice, but it completely changed my career and confidence.
These stories are so inspiring. What makes the contrast technique work?
It works because it shows genuine transformation. It proves you've grown, changed, and overcome something real. People connect with transformation stories because everyone wants to believe they can change their own life too.
Now, let's talk about cultural differences in discussing success. How do different cultures approach this?
Some cultures celebrate individual success loudly and openly. People share achievements on social media, talk about their wins, and self-promote. Other cultures value modesty and collective success over individual glory. Success might be shared quietly or attributed to the team or family.
Navigate this.
Understand the context. In American business culture, talking about your achievements is expected in interviews and networking. In social situations, be more balanced. In international settings, read the room. When in doubt, use humble confidence. Acknowledge your success while giving credit to others and staying gracious.
What if your culture taught you never to talk about success?
You can acknowledge this. In my culture, we're taught to be very modest, so this feels uncomfortable, but I'm learning to share my achievements when appropriate. I'm proud that This shows self-awareness while practicing a new skill.
Now, let's talk about success in different settings. How do you talk about success in a job interview?
In interviews, be direct and confident. I increased sales by 35% in my first year. I led a team of 10 people on a successful project. I developed a system that saved the company $50,000 annually. Use numbers, be specific, and connect achievements to results.
And what about in casual conversation with friends?
With friends, be more relaxed and excited. Guess what? I finally finished my marathon. I'm so excited. I got the apartment I wanted. I just have to tell you about this amazing thing that happened. Share the joy, not just the facts.
What about on social media?
On social media, you can celebrate publicly, but stay authentic. Thrilled to announce I've accepted a position at... After months of hard work, I'm proud to share that grateful for this opportunity to balance excitement with gratitude.
What about in professional networking?
In networking, lead with value. I specialize in helping companies improve their digital marketing ROI. I've successfully launched 3 tech startups. My expertise is in sustainable business practices. Focus on what you can offer, not just what you've done.
Now, let's talk about responding to setbacks after success. How do you discuss when things go wrong?
Be honest, but maintain perspective. I had a setback. This wasn't the outcome I hoped for. I experienced a failure. Things didn't go as planned. Then add context, but I'm learning from it. I'm already working on my next attempt. This is just one chapter.
Can you give an example?
I launched my product successfully last year, but sales have been slower than expected this quarter. It's disappointing, but I'm analyzing what's not working, getting customer feedback, and adjusting my strategy. Success isn't a straight line, and I'm committed to figuring this out.
That shows resilience. Now, let me ask you personally, John, what's a success you're proud of?
I appreciate you asking. Honestly, one success I'm really proud of is this YouTube channel. When we started English Speaking Nerds, I had no idea if anyone would watch. I was nervous about being on camera, worried about making mistakes, and unsure if I could really help people. But we committed to showing up consistently, creating quality content, and genuinely caring about our viewers' learning. Now, we've helped thousands of people improve their English, and I get messages from learners all over the world telling me how much they've grown. That impact means everything to me. I'm proud not just of the numbers, but of the real difference we're making in people's lives. What about you, Maya?
Thanks for sharing that, John. One success I'm proud of is overcoming my fear of making mistakes in English. Early in my teaching career, I was so focused on being perfect that I would freeze up. I realized that my fear was actually preventing me from connecting with students. So I made a conscious decision to embrace mistakes as part of teaching. Now, when I make an error, I laugh, correct myself, and keep going. This transformation has made me a better, more authentic teacher. I went from being paralyzed by perfectionism to being free to be myself. That personal growth is a success I truly value because it changed how I show up in the world.
I love that example. It shows that success isn't always about external achievements. Sometimes the biggest success is internal transformation.
Exactly. And notice how we both used many of the techniques we taught today. We described the journey, acknowledged challenges, used the contrast technique, expressed gratitude, and stayed humble while being proud.
Now we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what's a success you're proud of? It can be big or small. Getting out of bed when you're depressed is a success. Learning a new word is a success. Finishing this video is a success. Share your wins with our community.
This is a judgment-free zone. We celebrate all successes here, no matter the size. Your achievement matters, and we want to hear about it.
And if this video helped you feel more confident about talking about your achievements in English, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us know you want more content like this.
Please share this video with anyone learning English who struggles to talk about their success or anyone who needs encouragement to celebrate their achievements.
Subscribe to English Speaking Nerds if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss our lessons. We're here every week to help you speak English naturally and confidently.
Until next time, stay nerdy, stay curious, and remember that your success matters, your achievements are valid, and you have the words to express them powerfully in English.
Thank you for being part of our community.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep celebrating your wins.
We can't wait to read about your successes in the comments.
See you in the next episode.
Take care. Bye.